everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. You know, whether you're just stopping by for the first time or you've seen my videos before and you were expecting this one, because I did mention that I was going to be posting a video about advice for young singer-songwriters. And I'm pretty excited to make this video because when I started out making music, so I'm going to give some background on myself. So for those of you who don't know, you know where I'm coming from when I talk about this advice. So I started writing my own songs when I was 12. When I was 13, I picked up the guitar and took some classes at a community college. And once I reached a certain level of classes, they were like, okay, you need a one-on-one teacher. And that's expensive. So I just taught myself from then on. You know, went on the internet, looked up things I didn't know yet, and just went from there. I started performing my own songs at open mics and like little community events when I was 14. And by the time I was 16, I had written and recorded my first album. It was about 8 songs, but I'd still call it my first album. And it was a pretty simple recording, just vocals and guitar with a local producer in South San Francisco, California. And then when I was 17, I recorded my second album, which is called Made to Dream, and it's still available. It's all over if you want to look for it. It's on iTunes and Spotify and all that fun stuff. That album was 9 songs. I recorded it at Soundtech Studios in Campbell, California with Robert Berry. And then I went off to music college. I went to McNally Smith College of Music in St. Paul, Minnesota, and I attended I did their songwriting and composition program from 2013 to 2016. Graduated in December of 2016. I also got a minor in music business. And while I was at McNally, I released my third album, Love Always, which was 13 songs, and I also recorded it with Robert at Soundtech. And while I was in high school through college, I was playing gigs all over the Bay Area and the Twin Cities. I held a residency at the Acadia in Minneapolis twice, and that was really fun. That was a really fun experience because I got to work with artists and acts from all over the Twin Cities. And once I finished my bachelor's degree, I moved back to the Bay Area and I continued to play gigs. I started playing at farmers markets more regularly, and I consider those like a paid rehearsal, because while most farmers markets, or at least the ones in my area, don't pay you to perform, you do get a decent amount of tips, and it's a nice way to practice your songs and just test them out in front of a pretty neutral audience. In 2019, March of 2019, I released my first EP, La Guerrera / The Warrior EP. That was 4 songs. And since then, I've been working on my 4th album, which it has a title, but I'm not going to tell you guys yet because it's a surprise. And I also got a Master of Arts in Music Business through Berklee Online. I completed that in December of 2019. And since then, I've been performing. I started doing some library events where I put together music and mental health, which are 2 things that are extremely important to me, and I was able to turn them into a program. And I've performed at various libraries across the Bay Area, including Menlo Park, Cupertino, San Mateo, Sunnyvale. I may be leaving some out. I probably am. I can't remember. But I've performed at a few libraries. And it was going pretty great until COVID-19. I'm not gonna say it as a word because I don't want this video to get flagged. But that happened, and that just turned my career upside down, as it did for many, many, many musicians, pretty much all musicians all around the world. And now I've been mostly doing live streams. I have a live stream with a library coming up, actually, and I've been live streaming off YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. So that's basically my career right now. And so the reason I'm doing this video is because when I started my journey as a singer-songwriter, I didn't have any mentors around my age. I was very lucky to have my friend and fellow singer-songwriter April Gilbert be a huge mentor to me. We play gigs together a lot, actually. Like, if you see any gigs I performed in the last year, she was probably playing with me. And like, I kind of see her as like my music mom. And then I have my voice teacher, Angela Arana, and we've been working together since I was 14, so I've been working with her for over 10 years, and she's been a mentor for me. My producer, Robert Barry, has been a huge mentor for me, but I never had anyone close to my age. You know, I had people, you know, who were double my age, if not more, and had a lot of experience in the industry, but they'd been doing it for so long that, you know, they didn't have the whole, like, you know, how do you do this from the perspective of a 14-year-old, of a 16-year-old, of a 20-year-old. And I wish there had been someone out there who'd been able to help me when I was navigating the music industry as a young woman and not too experienced. So I came up with 5 things that a young singer-songwriter should do. Now, because of the global thing that shall not be named, not all of this is going to be possible, but of course, you know, it could be something that's done virtually. So let's start with number 1. Attend open mics. I wish I had played more open mics when I was younger. I played a few in my area. I lived in San Jose while I was in high school, middle and high school, and I performed at open mics in Mountain View, Sunnyvale, Santa Clara, San Jose, Morgan Hill, you know, just the surrounding areas, and Palo Alto, because I went to high school, middle and high school in Palo Alto. Yeah, that was a commute. But I wish I'd done more. Now, of course, when you're in middle and high school and college, you're dealing with a lot of schoolwork and a lot of extracurriculars, and taking a few hours out of your evening, whether it's once or twice a week or more, can be a lot. I recommend playing open mics if you can and you have the time, because it is a great way to meet other musicians. Most musicians who play open mics are usually up and coming, and they're just testing their songs out, testing their on-stage banter, which is extremely important, by the way. You don't want to be on stage being awkward, even though that's basically how I act, but you know, it's fine. So yeah, open mics. A lot of them are virtual right now, at least from what I've noticed in the Bay Area. I've seen that several cafes and small music venues have moved their open mics to be over Facebook Live or YouTube, so definitely see if any coffee shops or small music venues in your area are offering virtual open mics, and see if you can play one. Number 2 is develop thick skin and don't take things personally. This is a hard one for me because I'm a very sensitive person and I take things personally. Over the years, I've learned not to do that, and I have to say, being able to separate your feelings from what someone is projecting onto you, that is a very important quality to have. And in the industry, you're going to experience a lot of rejection. Even though I've been doing this for a while, it doesn't quite get easier because the industry is just so competitive. So you have to be able to take rejection. You have to be able to get knocked down on your feet and be able to get back up, because the more you learn to do that, the farther you'll get. Number 3 is, and it goes pretty well with number 2, is separate yourself from your art. Now, this became very clear to me while I was in college because I was in a very small program. My college was about 400 students, and I think by the time I graduated, we were down to like 200. It was a very small school. I graduated, I was one of 2 people in my program to graduate. Now, of course, I graduated in winter, which was not as many people graduate in winter. Most people graduate in spring, but still, I was one of 2 people in the songwriting program to graduate that semester, which goes to show, a lot of people dropped out before they finished. So what I noticed was a lot of my classmates would get feedback from our instructors and they would think it was a personal attack on their character, on their personality, on them. And the thing is, professors, they weren't criticizing the student, they were criticizing their song. They were saying, you could tweak your verse, your chorus should be more or less repetitive, you need to tweak your hook, something like that. That's not a reflection of you, that's a reflection of your work. And being able to say like, okay, this is who I am, and also knowing that you have the option of making those changes. If you want to make those changes and take that advice, you absolutely can. And if you don't want to take that advice and you're like, you know what, I like the way my chorus sounds, I'm going to keep it the way it is, you absolutely have the right to do that. I took the advice that my songwriting instructors and my music theory instructors, I took that advice and I took it to heart. And if I agreed with it and thought, like, hey, this will improve my song, I went and changed it. And if I thought, you know what, I like the way my song sounds, I like the way it is, I'm gonna keep it the way it is, I did that. So knowing that this is you, this is your art, these are your songs, you're not the same thing. You have to be able to separate them. Now, number 4, and this is something else I wish I'd done when I first started out, was join artist and songwriting groups. There are many out there and a lot of them are regional. Now, I'm a folk singer-songwriter, so my music is more in the vein of Joni Mitchell and Joan Baez and early Taylor Swift. I mean, Folklore, her most recent album, like, my music is definitely in that vein too. It's also got pop influences, it's got country in there. My music just kind of spans everything, but I feel most at home in the folk music community. So when I was 22, 23, I think, yeah, it hasn't been that long, but it feels like it's been forever, I joined Folklines. Well, Folklines International is the full name, and it's an organization in the United States and Canada, and I believe Mexico is also included. And we also have people who come to our international conference from the UK, from places in Africa, from places in South America, from all over. And I'm part, because we're divided into regions, I've attended all the regionals, but I'm a part of Far West because I live in California, which is in the Far West region. So when I attend the international conference, I get to meet people from all over the country and overseas, while when I attend the Far West conference, I'm around people in my immediate area of California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Hawaii, BC, in Canada, that general area. If you go to folk.org, I'm pretty sure you can find a map of each region and which states and provinces are in what. I also attend the regionals that are in other parts of the country that I don't know as well, just because it's important to branch out and meet people in different places, because you never know, I might meet someone in Nashville who can, work on my next album with me. I might meet someone in New York City who could help me get a gig at a prominent New York City venue. You never know. So joining these groups and these nonprofits, it's a great way to get involved in the local music community and meet people who are in all stages of their career. Now with the folk community, it does skew older, so I'm one of the babies, actually. Like, being in my mid-20s, I'm one of the youngest members, both in Far West and just Folk Alliance in general. But it's nice to get to know people who've been at this for decades and hear their stories and their experiences. It's really enlightening, and it teaches you a lot. So there's other artist and songwriting groups, such as, I'm also a member of ASCAP, which is a PRO, and more information on that, you can Google it. PROs are performing rights organizations. They're the ones who get your performance royalties and send them to you. So because I'm a member of ASCAP, I attend their conference every year. Now, of course, because of the C word, I have not been able to go to any of the Folk Alliance or ASCAP events this year, and I don't know about next year. We'll see what's going on. But they've also been able to put on virtual events, and that has been a great help of keeping connected with everyone. Number 5 is read this book. It's called How to Make It in the New Music Business, Practical Tips on Building a Loyal Following and Making a Living as a Musician by Ari Herstand. Read this book. This is the 2nd edition. I have the 1st edition on my bookshelf. It's a big book. The text is small. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of extremely valuable information about the industry, about how it's changing, about how it continues to change and evolve. And honestly, after reading this book, I just felt like, whoa, I actually feel like I can take control of my career. Like even with even with my bachelor and master's degrees, which have also been a huge help. I also just want to make it clear, you don't need to go to a music school to be successful in your career. I'm just saying I did it because I wanted to have more of an educational background. But if you just want to read a book, this like covered basically everything I did in my bachelor and master's programs, pretty much. Now, of course, it didn't go as into depth, but this has so much valuable information. It is so up to date. I believe Ari is actually working on the 3rd edition because the industry just continues to evolve. It changes so quickly. And it just gives you such great tips on how to market yourself. Like it makes you realize that if you want to have a successful music career, you need to put music first. So read that book. And Ari, if you watch this video, you're awesome. I actually have not gone through this book yet because I read the 1st edition, but this is sitting at the bottom of my nightstand waiting for me to pick it up because it's a lot and I've got a lot going on. But I want to read this again just to go over what I've read already and look at the new stuff that Ari added. You know, it goes over things like crowdfunding, it goes over things like royalties, it goes over things like legal stuff, it goes over things like what you should and shouldn't do on stage. It really covers everything. So this is a great book. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it, just sitting here on my bed with my fan blowing in my face because it's like 80 degrees outside on a September afternoon. Yeah, I hope you find these tips helpful. If you have any advice, you know, if you're a young singer-songwriter, when I say young, I honestly mean like late 20s and younger, maybe early 30s. I don't know, I'm 25, I feel like a baby. But then I look at like 13-year-olds who are out there performing and I'm like, fetus. So if you have any tips for young singer-songwriters or even just singer-songwriters who are just starting out, because you don't have to be like 12 to start your music journey. You can be 40, you can be 75 and start your music career. But I made this video specifically for the youngins because I wish there had been someone out there for me when I was 12, 13, 14, 17, 20. I don't usually make videos like this about the music industry, but if you'd like to hear more about that and my experiences in the music industry, let me know and I can make more videos about that. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to be the first to know about new content I put up on this channel. I also have a Patreon. It is patreon.com/GabbyCastroMusic. There will be a link in the description bar if you are interested in that. And another thing is, because of the thing that I keep alluding to that I can't say, Patreon has been a big thing that artists are using now. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, that would be great. You don't have to become a patron. I know times are hard, but if you are able to and you want to support my art, that'd be great. Thanks again for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye!